I have a great idea,
But I'll
never do it. It might happen. Sure, the monkey's might fly out of my butt. I don't think so.
I don't see it happening.
Hey, everyone. It's me, Louise.
What? Oh my god. I guess it's me, Jon.
I'm just living it up in this big city, New York City, that is.
Man,
and
I
recording
love
this
Portland.
podcast with my friend.
West Coast,
Jon.
Best Coast.
Right? Ugh, whatever. Blech. Anyway, this is the podcast where we talk about all the great ideas that we all have that we ain't never gonna do.
Not ever. Ever,
No,
ever.
we're not.
No. But we want you to do them if you want to.
Yes, please. Gonna get this all out of the way at the tippy top of the show. If you do have a great idea that you want us to talk about, call it into 304-804-IDEA. Write to us. Maybe you don't like the telephone for using it as a telephone, but you like using it as an email device. Email us at greatideapod@gmail.com. Check out our socials at greatideapod. Go to our Patreon, patreon.com/greatideapod. What else we got here, Louise?
I mean, you found us here. So chances are you can find us other places too.
You're a pretty tech savvy listener.
Yeah.
You know what's up.
I guess
and-
on the Twitter, if you're looking for somebody who posts close to never, that's us.
Our social media manager has been sick for coming up on a year and a half. We hope that they're okay.
Yeah.
And ding, 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 ding. It's our 2-year anniversary episode. Everybody's so excited right now. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
I didn't get you anything.
Yeah, I that's fine. I got you the same gift.
Cool. But we are giving our listeners the greatest gift of all, free entertainment.
That's true. Also, I'm so proud of us. I am. I'm so proud.
Yeah, 37 episodes over the course of 2 years isn't a major accomplishment, but
it is.
Y'all
when
don't
it
know
started
how
as a joke.
It did start as a joke. Another thing that started as a joke is our podcast, Louise to Beaver. If you want to hear us talk about each episode of Leave It to Beaver, of which there are many, check that podcast out. And rate and review both podcasts on Apple Podcasts or Google Play, Google Podcasts, whatever it may be. It'd mean a lot.
Yeah, tell all your friends. And look, if you love it and you want to give us 5 stars, we love that. If you're, hate listening, just keep it to yourself.
Yeah, we don't want to hear your
continue to hate
negativity.
listen. Look, this is cheaper than therapy.
That's very true. We have only one review, and it's the same one that we've had for a year. So we got to fill that up, folks.
1 for 1.
It was a positive review. So, Louise, we're not here to talk about our podcast. We're here to talk about great ideas.
That's right.
Yeah. Got anything, any fresh ideas you want to talk about?
I do have some fresh ideas. Speaking of so fresh and fresh, it is the springtime. And if you're me, you're basically unaffected other than people complaining constantly about it being rainy, though spring is the wet season, or it being too hot because after a number of days where it's 50 degrees in a row, it's all of a sudden 88 and people are like, where's my cool, not humid 72 degree weather and sunny? And I'm like, jerks, move to LA. That's not how this works. But if you are like my fiancé, you are greatly affected by all of the allergens floating around when stuff is blooming and bursting out all over. So my great idea was very similar to an eye mask that people who crave the deep darkness when they sleep wear over their eyes. Only it goes over, I don't have a spiffy name, but it goes over, other than sleep mask, your nose and your mouth, kind of like winter sports style, but it's a filter so that you can sleep with the windows open in the sweet, sweet springtime and feel that luscious breeze on your face or in your hair as your head is nestled on the tip of your pillow without being choked to death by all that pollen and spores or whatever else is happening outside that's making you want to die.
Spores.
I don't know.
I do like a nice alfresco snoozerino, I will
Especially when it's just cold enough that you can pile on even more blankets and still be super comfortable without immediately sweating.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
As a sufferer...
Unless you have allergies.
As a sufferer of seasonal allergies, I will say, when people complain about it, I'm like, oh yeah, it's the pits.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
What?
Allergies.
Allergies.
I just
Catch
had
your Z's.
I just that
And put
just
your
happened.
nose at ease.
Oh, it's already a
With
commercial.
allergies.
It's already a radio commercial.
Yeah, no one will hear it. This
Get
episode
those
is
Z's
sponsored
with
by
allergies.
allergies. No, I love it. I feel like it would take some getting used to.
Yeah, probably
know
not
that-
cute.
Probably not very cute unless you get some like Lisa Frank to design some
Ooh.
some snazzy covers for it.
It
or-
doubles as like a mask that can scare burglars.
That is a bonus. Unless they are also affected by seasonal allergies and they're just like, hey, you got an allergies. Me too.
I got one too. Yeah.
Yeah. I was thinking of getting one. How does that work? And it's like, you're robbing me. Stop this.
And then they like reach out in front like cartoon style and grab it off your face. Yoink.
Yeah. No, I think it's a cool idea. I feel like anything that can be done to help with seasonal allergies is totally a great idea.
And though I'm not a sufferer, I feel like Americans generally, and not you, and not me, but Americans generally are like, I have this problem, give me pills.
Right.
And this would be like a really cool non-pill way to do it.
Yeah, and I do take an over-the-counter antihistamine, whatever, and I gotta say, this year, it's not working as well as it used to. I don't know if I've built up a tolerance.
I mean,
Or what?
you say that you take them. I know people that pop them like candy and it's still not working.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. Those people are drowsy a lot of the day. Not,
Yeah, right.
not an aforementioned fiance, but other people.
Maybe that's why I'm kind of out of it today. Earlier, I was just like, whoa, I haven't done anything today, but I still feel drained. Maybe it's that.
Yeah. I'll give
Maybe
you
it's
3 guesses, and the first 2 aren't allergies.
So, talking about things with clever names, I've got an idea for an app. And I know that normally I'm not coming up with names for these things, but this one is, it's kind of designed around the name of it. So, as you know, we got our Instagram. We all love Instagram. It's great. People have their stories. It's got filters. It's fun, whatever. But what if there was a very specific social media app that was very specific to everybody's favorite way to compare and contrast two things, the Venn diagram. And you can just have it be called Venn diagram.
I love it.
It's got the gram built in. Everybody loves Venn diagrams. It's true.
I love it.
What does a honky-tonk bar have in common with screen actor Vin Diesel? Take a look at this Venn diagram and you'll see where they intersect. Yeah.
I like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the visual, more efficient 6 degrees of separation.
Go on.
Well, you might have to do, I mean, I don't have like an example right off the top of my head, but don't people normally do like Kevin Bacon, and he's also the lead singer of the Bacon Brothers rock band.
Yes.
And Rock Band was a game console thing where you played fake instruments, and instruments are, I mean, you know, I'm just working with it, but at least in the Venn diagram, it would be like boop, boop, and the stuff in the middle. Like, you know, a Venn diagram. Like
a Venn diagram wants to do all the time. Yeah, totally. I mean, look, it's 2018. Everybody's getting creative with everything else. You think outside the Venn diagram and put it inside the Venn diagram of your choosing.
Yeah. Or, okay, so I was talking to my mom today about Reykjavik.
Okay.
And we were talking about this hot dog shop that she'd never heard of. And you say, right, because I've heard of this hot dog shop, and you know who else has? William
Vin Diesel,
Clinton.
star of, okay.
Oh, I was going to say.
William Jefferson Clinton?
Yeah, so if you put in, like, Iceland and hot dogs, the app could just put saxophone former president in the middle.
So what you're saying is that this app can also generate the commonalities between two seemingly separate things.
Yes.
Interesting.
In ways that in fun and interesting ways that maybe you wouldn't think about. Like, I think it's just that on a trip to Iceland, President Clinton had a hot dog at said hot dog stand.
I think it's a pretty standard place to visit if you're a hot dog eater. And in Iceland.
I mean, standard as standard can be.
Right? I mean, nothing says Iceland more than a hot dog.
And a waterfall.
Well, yeah, waterfall, yeah, for sure. And also just like photos of like very blue, crazy lagoony things.
Mm-hmm.
And saxophone president William Jefferson Clinton.
Yeah. I love it. And the name is so great. It's already there for you.
I wish that like it would be socially acceptable to name a child Venn diagram. Because that'd be a pretty cool name.
As the first name, last name?
First name, middle name.
Okay. And then the last name, just
whatever
anything
the
that
last
a
name
last name is.
Yeah.
Because
although it would be a really cool name for a dog.
Oh my god, it'd be a great name for a dog. I mean,
imagine if you were walking down the
though.
street. What's that?
It'd be a great name for a kid.
Oh, for sure. But like, if you named a dog Venn diagram, then no one's going to be like, you know, chit chatting about you with all the other moms and dads.
Look, hate is gonna hate though. So I mean, that's the first time I've ever said that seriously. But, but I mean, I don't know. People name their kids such crazy things. Why is that any crazier?
Oh, I'm just saying, in a world in which that would be socially acceptable, that'd be pretty cool. But like, if you were walking down the street and you saw like a crazy looking dog and you were like, oh, hey, what's your dog's name? Because let's face it, you and I probably ask that question more than
every
people
time
would
we see a
assume.
dog.
Yeah. And the person said, oh, its name is Venn Diagram. You would love that and not stop raving about how amazing it was. And also, Venn Diagram is a really great name for any kind of mutt, any kind of mix.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what it is.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It is the intersection of, let's take my dog, for example, a blue heeler and a Boston Terrier. What do you get when you cross the two of them? Daisy. Mm-hmm. Right, Daisy?
And how?
Yeah.
It also feels like it would be a really fun name to call out into an open field, like Venn diagram. Like when you want it to come a running.
Right. Yeah.
Venn diagram.
Venn diagram. Diagrammy. Yeah, I think that's another great idea.
Ugh. So many off the cuff, like great things happening. Allergies.
Yeah. Well,
Venn diagram.
So what else do you have in your master list of great ideas?
Hard emotional shift. I got no segue, but I was recently on a car trip. I didn't drive. I was a passenger, but I was riding in a car for a long period of time. And there was both rain and shine on this trip. And I was thinking there's got to be a better way to get the glare off the windshield when you're driving into the sun, into the west, into the setting sun, or whether you're driving at night and you get someone's brights in your face or whatever. So I was thinking there has to be some way to either like a different windshield wiper fluid that's like SPF or something onto your windshield to like dampen that glare that would still be sort of safe, or like absorb the brightness, but the tint would go away, or maybe sort of like a shade of some kind that can retract.
What if the car could have like a little dial you can press and like a kind of like the bill of a hat comes out of the front and like blocks out some of the sun. I mean, yeah, if it's like complete sunset and it's like right in front of you, then that's not going to work. But like essentially just like having your car wear a little hat.
Very aerodynamic. Perfect for
not
the mountains.
Yeah.
No, but like I like that same idea in the cartooniness of it, because when I was trying in the car, like, how can I get this out of my face and my eyeballs? I was like, there needs to be a moment where you could just press a big red button. It's like, force field on. And then it like, poof, a little bubble around your car so you could like just see till you get around the bend or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't have a snappy name. It's not like really practical or doable. I'm not sure about the technology, but I want it. Right.
There must be a better way.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this earlier today about like, and this isn't specific to what you're talking about, but that is an issue that cars have had since cars existed. And everything else about cars, we have, and by we, I mean like people who make cars, have updated or changed. So like, we're behind on that kind of thing. But yeah, earlier today I was just thinking like, when I was growing up, like we had this kind of car, and if I saw that exact car right now, I'd be like, man, that's an old car. Who's driving that piece of junk? But at the time, it was like really cool. So it's like, right now there's all these crazy cars coming out, but in 20 years it's going to be like, man, what a woofer. Can't believe I used to drive that kind of thing. But it does apply though.
Question.
Yeah,
Did you guys take a bunch of trips growing up?
We took one main trip for a few summers. I grew up in New Jersey, and we drove down to Georgia. I think 2 years we drove. Other times we flew, but I think the 2 years we drove. And I played a lot of Game Boy.
Oh, I played a lot of Game Boy too. Question. Did you guys have, because listeners, I don't know if you've put 2 and 2 together, but in my family, it was basically just me and Mare. In John's family, he's the baby.
Yeah, 2 older brothers, mama, papa. That's it.
So did you guys have like a regular sort of, family car, and it was like the 3 of you boys crammed in the back seat, or did you have
yeah. I'd say that at this time it was probably like a Mercury Sable station wagon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Because sometimes growing up, my mom and I would piggyback on other family trips.
Oh.
So it would be like my Aunt Donna and her 2 girls and my Uncle Mark and maybe my Uncle Dean and then my mom and me. And somehow in my brain, I'm on the floor of the car, like coloring or playing a Travel Trouble where you like pop the button.
The little Pop-O-Matic bubble.
Right. Or I'm playing Game Boy, lots of Game Boy. But I'm sitting in like paper and crayons on the floor for like hours. And I thought nothing of it at the time. And I'm sure my family thought nothing of it. And they were like, they're quiet and they're doing stuff. Great, let them go. And while in Pittsburgh, I stayed with some friends. And they have 2 boys. And recently, they had taken a different car to pick up their niece from daycare, which meant they had to change the car seats in some way because the niece is much younger than their 2 boys. So when they went the next day to pick up the 4-year-old, almost 5, from school, they had like the wrong car seat, or they were like missing one car seat. And the mom was like, you can sit in the front with your seatbelt on, crisscross applesauce if you want, whatever is going to keep you happy, and strapped in and sitting there for the 10 blocks that we're driving in, a small area. Not small, but small to me because I live in New York. And big if you go back to where I'm thinking from Iowa. Not the point. In any case, and she relayed this story to me when she got home, and I was thinking to myself, like, not realizing, like, you would completely panic if you had to put your child in a car with no car seat.
And also, like, safety standards have changed a ton. Like, now, I think that until you're, like, I don't know, 9 or 10 or something like that, like and I think it's by weight, but, like, you have to sit in these, like, boostery seats. Like, there's these little car seats for kids that aren't, like, strap them in, lock them in tight, but they are different from just the regular seat. Yeah, so it's like...
But it's just, like, funny
necessity.
Because I feel like, how young was I? Sitting on the floor for hours at a time, not trying to incriminate anybody, but, kids are on the floor, but, like...
It was a different time.
Yeah. I just wondered if you guys got restless in the back seat and finally somebody was like, I'm moving to the floor.
No, there wouldn't have been any room on the floor.
Okay.
I don't
Different
think.
cars.
Yeah, because that's like,
case,
yeah, I don't know. We were pretty content with our little Game Boys and headphones and stuff.
Oh my God, you guys were such angels.
We were not. Well, I mean, we were relatively chill as long as we had that. And it's like, thinking about it, it's like, man, now as a parent, it's like, oh, there's something I can give to my child that will keep them occupied. Great. I don't know. It's great. But yes, that's that pesky sun. Got to be a better way to keep that glare out.
I mean, we're just really falling behind.
It's really, really true. So, okay, this next one is relevant because it has to do with travel, and it's another app one. What are you going to do about it? Could be a website, but how many times, Louise, have you traveled and wanted to take public transportation, but the way that it like works confused you? Like, you didn't know if you needed exact change, exactly how much it was going to be, how transfers work. How
many times? Almost every time.
Yeah, and especially if you're in a foreign country with a different language, it's just like a big guessing game, or you have to hope that there's somebody who speaks the same language as you who works there who can explain it to you in a polite way.
And that's like not even talking about service changes for construction or late night or
totally
get out of town.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in New York, I feel like every time I'm there, there's like some weirdness going on where whichever train I want to take just happens to not be running that day. Yeah. So an app/website where you type in Istanbul, and it's like, oh, here is how their system works. I'm assuming they have some sort of public transportation system. I just kind of pulled that out of nowhere. Yeah, shrug. But yeah, so it just says like, okay, so for this one, here are your options. You have, an elevated train and a bus, for example. And the buses, work this way. There's an app you can download. Here is the link. And then everything can get taken care of within the app. Make sure to show it to the person as you're coming on. There's a thing to scan that. And then it's like, you don't have to play that guessing game. It just tells you right in front of you. Like, here's what you do. Here's how you do it.
Yeah, that would be super, super helpful. I mean, it doesn't even have to be in a foreign country. It doesn't even have to be in a place where they don't speak your language. I remember the first time I was in Boston and trying to use the transit system. I was out with people. I believe they call it the T.
The T.
I was out with people and we were like raging and like, having a good time. And people were like, we gotta go, the T. And I was like, what are you talking about? And apparently it like stops.
Right.
At 2 or something, which was such a weird concept for me. Because I was like, wait, how do you get home? And this was before Uber, by the by. And I was just like so confused. Because in New York, the trains are less frequent. Oh my God, I'm such that person in New York. But, side note to listeners, anybody listening for the first time, thing about me, I tried to live in LA for about 4 months. And I would go to dog parks every day and hiking trails because I was neurotic and I had not anything to do but the show that I was doing at night. And so I would meet people, and I realized quickly into my stay that I started almost every sentence with a new person. Well, in New York, ... and then started to discover how annoying that is. And then I just did it and caught myself. But the T stops. So it really would have been super helpful before I decided to put on a cute outfit and pregame and then leave at 11 instead of 8:30 with my friends to go to this place to go have a good time, that I was going to need to worry how I was going to get back to where I needed to go. Or it would be helpful if it was like little alerts, like this part you're going to be above ground, this part you're going to be below ground. Like little things like that, because sometimes you're like, oh, I'll just call you on my cell phone on the train. Oh my God, I'm underground.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of other things too. Or like when Chris and I went to Japan, we got tipped off by a friend. But if you buy your transit tokens or cards or whatever in the country, they're like twice as expensive as if you get, as if you can, it's called the like Japanese railway pass, I think. Don't quote me. But if you buy it, they'll ship it to you in your home country, because you can't buy them in Japan. You can only buy them outside of Japan. But in Japan, there's public trains and private trains, and they use different like systems of pay. Sometimes you pay by ride, sometimes you pay by distance, sometimes you don't have to like necessarily go in and out of the turnstile, but and the connections are different. But in any case, if you have this pass, which I don't know, I think was like $150. It was just sort of like your get out of jail free pass. You're like, but I have my pass.
Right.
And it worked on both the public and the private. And it was like, wow, if I could have just downloaded the app and it would have been like, look, you can do all this way. But since you're not in Japan, do this.
Right.
Like, that would have been super helpful, too. I mean, I had a word of mouth friend, but an app would have been helpful as well.
We love apps.
God, we're living in a time where we're hacks for apps.
Totally. You're actually
cool.
Just a quick timeout. You're cutting out a little bit.
Oh.
Like you're freezing up. Should we hang up and call again?
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't tell if you were frozen then.
Yeah.
I'm not stopping my recording
though, right? Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
How about now?
You're a little choppy.
Still?
Which is very weird. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to, actually, let's see.
No. Oh, now you're like Freeze McFreezer.
Freeze McFreezer. I'm going to prioritize my computer with the Wi-Fi.
Okay. How do you do that? Can I do that?
I have Google Wi-Fi. So I have like, it's my router is a Google thing, and it's got like these little, actually here it is. These little things right here around the house.
Frozen.
And it's like a little mesh system. So
you're not moving,
all
you're
right,
not talking.
well,
Connection lost. Ah. Wait, there you are. There you are. No.
are we good?
Oh. Okay, I see this. Okay.
Okay. Shall we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
So challenges.
Oh, challenges. I still have some more ideas, but if you're ready for challenges.
I mean, give me what you got. No, let's wait.
I definitely want to talk about one more thing, because it's something that's been on my mind a lot lately. And I hope that you're all sitting down for this, because you are not going to believe what you're about to hear, our friendly listeners. Louise, you a fan of the television program The Wonder Years?
I am a super fan.
You're a super fan. Okay. Imagine if a new like box set or streaming thing or whatever came out that was every episode of the Wonder Years. But instead of Daniel Stern doing the narration of future Kevin Arnold, it's Fred Savage now.
What would I do with an amazing idea like that?
Yeah.
I would rewatch every episode.
You would rewatch every episode. It is a no-brainer. Whoever has the distribution rights or whatever to the Wonder Years, all you have to do is just, isolate the audio tracks, remove Daniel Stern, have Fred Savage read in word for word, syllable for syllable, the same exact way Daniel Stern did it, and you're done.
Or his own way.
What's that?
Or his own way.
Or his own way, sure. It could change everything. Interesting.
Love it. And there's essentially no more work to be done.
Right.
Because it's already written. You would just need to pay Fred Savage for his sweet, sweet time and sweet, sweet talent.
Yeah, I'm sure there's like other things to pay for, but that's probably the biggest cost.
Right.
But seriously, people would buy that. It is a specialty item to the max. And that is a show where everybody who has watched it would watch it again, especially with this feature.
I'd probably watch it again without that feature.
I'm overdue.
Yeah. Okay. So, side rant about things like this. If we're going to continue to throw money at George Lucas to re-edit, recut, restyle, different screen sizes, whatever, all the Star Wars, and take us down wormholes of characters that we no longer care about or whatever. Right. I don't know. P.S. I love Star Wars as well, and I'll probably still see everything that comes out, but it just makes me mad when there's special director's edition. But this particular show, I feel like you would just do by season, because it's not a feature that you would go pay $22 in the theater to see.
Right.
You know what I mean? It would be season. Part of your Netflix package, or you'd buy the box set for that season, or and I'm happy to support this show again.
Right.
Ooh, other side rant. Have you seen the re-edited Arrested Development?
I have not. We have talked about this.
Oh.
So let me see if I can remember how you explained it. What's it called?
I think it's called Arrested Development: Fateful Consequences.
So it's that fourth Netflix season recut?
Yeah. Because before, they were character driven, hour to hour and 20-minute episodes. There were fewer of them. And the fans went, hey, what gives?
Yeah,
and
I wasn't loving it.
I wasn't loving it as well. And so they had all the footage. I think they took a lot of the fan critique, and thought, that's what you guys wanted? Well, we didn't need to be experimental. And then re-spliced it. I don't think any new scenes were filmed. I think they just recut it. And now there's the quippier 22-minute episodes.
Fateful Consequences.
And it's I'm loving it. I think I'm only 3 or 4 episodes in.
Okay, I'll check it out.
But I'm loving it.
Is it on Netflix?
It is.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, the grander point of talking about this is you wouldn't even need to do that. You wouldn't even need to take any of the footage and clip it together differently. You just need the voiceover editing.
Right. It's true.
It might actually change things in a really interesting way.
Well, the only way we're going to find out exactly what it does is if somebody makes it happen.
Somebody somewhere do it.
Fred, if you're listening, Mr. Savage, big fans, make this happen, bro.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. We're putting it out there. It's out there now. But we got to talk about challenges.
Hello.
So, what did I challenge you to in the last episode?
In the last episode, because it was recently after I became engaged.
Engaged.
Yes. You
Yes.
challenged me to wedding registries. And I gotta tell you, I didn't think this was something that I was gonna have any opinions about at all. I'm not sure any of my opinions are gonna be helpful, or if these are just things that everybody thinks, but I don't know why they are the way that they are. First off, let me just say, times have changed. This is not two young kids who bought a house and need to fill it
Right.
with stuff. Like, this is a different time, a different era. People have different priorities. Also, Chris and I have been living together for quite some time. We are much older than what parents of the past used to be when they, I'm not a
Right.
parent, but like, I just mean like when I think about people,
When
they're like, oh, my
other
parents
people's
got
parents.
married when they were 21, whatever. And they got this china for their wedding. I don't know. I don't need
Right.
that stuff. I don't want that stuff. So I also find the whole idea of making a registry or hoping people buy things for me like moderately repulsive.
Right.
If I'm gonna go down this journey, we need some better tech. In the past, when using other people's registries, autofill, the shipping address, isn't auto.
That should be a necessity. I don't.
That should be
Yeah. I don't
like,
know people's
enter-
addresses.
no. Well, and like that's like the first of all, I had to find your registry. I had to be notified that you had one or Google it myself. I've already done that legwork. Now I'm going to click on the thing that you want and then go through the online purchasing of it and then refer to a contact list. Like, I don't know where you live, maybe.
Right.
Specifically. I mean, I guess I kind of know where you live. You're my friend. But that field should autofill without question.
Right.
Secondly, some registries that I have used in the past don't have a field to leave a message. So you're like going through this whole process of like picking out, purchasing, and sending somebody something, and then they get it and they're like, huh, got this thing. Don't know who it's from.
Right.
What?
There were a few where I had to like play detective when I got married to like figure out. Yeah.
But yeah, like, why isn't that like, I mean, sure, if you're going to go randomly picking out a crystal punch bowl for your friend who loves Waterford, I don't know.
Or just punch.
Or just punch, and you forget to put a note in, great. But if you're going to a registry, that should be part of
Right.
like the information that Big Brother has already taken from you.
Yeah.
Help us out, Big Brother. And then the next thing that is sometimes annoying, oftentimes annoying, ain't nothing else but annoying, is when you have to go back to the registry page and mark the gift as purchased.
Right. I
Why-
can't believe that things still do that.
Okay, so bottom line, better tech. How is this a problem? This is a multi-billion-dollar company per year. Industry.
Right.
How is this not better?
Well, I think that another thing that we need to discuss is a much bigger issue, and that is gift giving for weddings. Because as you said earlier, you know, especially like for you guys, you already have a bunch of stuff. And honestly, it's like, as great as a big fat check is, I don't think that people should be paying me money for getting married. What about people who choose not to get married? Do they not deserve your money?
Yeah, it's a little fishy.
Yeah. I'm already getting like some sort of tax break for filing jointly. It's not like I need, look, I love money for nothing, but I don't believe that a gift is necessary, especially if, FYI, I'm traveling to somebody's wedding. The gift is my presence there.
Right.
I spent a lot of money.
Presence.
Yeah, right. I spent a lot of money on airfare and hotel
and taxi and all. Like, you don't have a
all
refrigerator, so every meal except the rehearsal dinner, if you're invited to that, or
right.
the dinner at the wedding, if there is that. I've been to some weddings where it's like it's a strolling dinner, so you just kind of have to like find the cater waiter with the tray that you want and keep, picking as much as you can. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you too. I'll take money for nothing all the time. But when it's attached to my union to another person, it makes me feel weird.
Yeah, it's a little weird. There are so many other issues with marriage, especially in this country, that it's like a lot of it just feels a little sleazy. But there's just so many customs and traditions.
Oh, I can't even start to talk about the garter belt. I can't.
No.
Not today. Let's keep it positive.
We didn't do anything like that. Our parties, so what we did, okay, my wife and I live in Portland, used to live in LA, and I'm from New Jersey. My wife is from here in Portland. So we had a very small gathering out here in Portland the day after we got married in a courthouse, right after there was a murder sentencing in the same courtroom. True story. And
nice. New
that
detail
night
I didn't know.
You didn't know that? Yeah.
No,
murder sentencing.
I love it though.
So we, after the actual City Hall situation, it was just like pretty much immediate family, and we went out to dinner. Very nice. Some friends of mine from LA found out that we were having a dinner there, and they called and purchased us a couple bottles of champagne. That was super nice.
Lovely.
That very lovely. So then, the next day we had just like a little gathering for like other people, like Laura's cousins and aunts and uncles and that kind of stuff. We had a small get together in LA for all of our friends in LA. And, we just rented out a room, like a back room at a bar/brewery. And it was very chill and a lot of fun. And like they had all of the food and drink already there. We didn't have to like get a caterer or anything. And then I gave my mother permission to plan a little get together for us in New Jersey. And it's not like we wanted to do any of these things, but it was because people expected it. And, it was because if we didn't do it, they would have been upset. So we just said, whatever, we'll do something. So that one, I mean, there was, you were there. It was a very casual gathering.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
I was there, and I believe I was matching your mom.
Oh, probably.
We took a cute buddy picture.
And she probably loved that more than anything.
I loved it.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have. But, like, even though all of those things were, like, super chill and easy, it was still way more than I ever would have ever wanted to do. I just don't like big to-dos at all. Or even little to-dos.
First of all, I'm a narcissistic only child actress. I love big to-dos. Not this kind.
Right.
Like,
yeah, it's different.
I am a choosing beggar. I want all of that, but not like that.
Listeners, Louise, you and I went to a very cool, very small wedding in St. Louis a few years back.
Sure did.
And it was at City Museum.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like really cool, a really fun, different thing to do. It wasn't like a zillion of the, bride and groom's like relatives. It was mostly younger people. And I don't know if they just have smaller families or what, but like that was really neat because it didn't feel like your typical like wedding situation.
Right. I think what they did, and the thing that was cool too, it was like a destination wedding because neither one of them is from St. Louis, but they were like, hey,
oh yeah,
we want to travel. We want it to be sort of weird and cool. What can we do that's affordable but also different, but also like everybody's traveling rather than like, all of the groom's people coming from his hometown to the bride's hometown or vice versa. And they had it at City Museum, and the night before the wedding, the museum stayed open for like 2 more hours, and after the rehearsal dinner, the wedding party came, but all the other guests could come and enjoy all of the museum. And so there's like a Ferris wheel on the roof, and there's like a slide.
There's
that's
like
5
the
stories.
World's largest slide or something like that.
There's the world's largest human hamster wheel.
Right.
The world's
Pencil.
largest like pencil. Yeah. And so their ceremony was in like an Egyptian room or
something like that.
A bank vault, or
there was a bank vault for sure.
Yeah, and then there was like the dinner, and it was like one whole floor. And then we got wax paper to slide down the slides on so you didn't ruin like your nice clothes, which was like such a cool idea. It's just that kind of cool idea and planning happens but once in a lifetime, I think, unless you're just going to copy somebody. But back to registries, because I'm not finished with my challenge before we move on.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I'm just recording some video of my dog Daisy because she's asleep next to me and her face is doing really crazy things.
I want to see it. Send it to me when you're done.
Oh, I will. Daisy. All right, so yeah, go on.
Return policies. Those need to be better with registries. I was chatting with a person recently about registries and reading the fine print, and some places, if you get a gift and have the gift receipt physically, you have to go to the store. Like, you can't even enter the barcode number online to get the like store credit. Then you can't even get like an actual refund. If you return it, the purchaser gets the refund.
That is crazy.
So it's just like, how is this even happening? I think sometimes the gift receiver is responsible for the shipping as well. Like, just the fine print has to be easier for the person getting the gift. Like,
ooh, yes, definitely. There should also be like a box that you can check if you don't want to be sent a thank you note.
Yes. I mean, yes, in all caps, period. I mean, enough is enough.
Enough is enough. That's right.
I love you. I am using my almighty dollar to love you. Don't thank me.
Yeah, I don't need a thank you.
No.
I will see that the item has been delivered. I don't need any more. I know that you're grateful. I don't need you to write it.
Yeah.
And mail it to me.
And if the thank you can be a hug and a smile.
Or
I
a
want
text.
Or a text. But
Text is fine.
Everything, as I alluded to before, in this billion-dollar industry is like elaborate foil embossed on whatever. This paper is crazy expensive, and then to mail it, and it's a weird size, and it doesn't like needs extra postage, or I don't know. Enough is enough.
Yeah.
Then there has to be different. I don't know how to say this any other way than we got to start to talk about taboo things in this country. Whether that's like pregnancy or money or like cultural things, we got to start talking, because the sooner we start talking about it, the sooner we can become comfortable with it, and the sooner I can register for people in my life that love me to pay for a photographer, because all
Right.
I really want are a couple of really cute pictures of me being really super happy on a special day.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want the china.
Yeah.
I don't want the vacuum. I don't want
Well,
the blender.
I think another thing to consider for something like a wedding is like, all right, let's say it's your birthday and you go out with like 10 of your friends and you just like go out for dinner and drinks. Who's paying for that? Everybody but you.
Right.
How come a wedding is the exact opposite?
Yes. How come?
It's perplexing.
It is perplexing.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That's
RSVP.
such a good point.
The RSVP should come with like, oh, great, you're gonna come. You want to get the vegetarian selection. Then enclose a check for $60, and that will cover this, that, and that, and that. And first of all, if people want to go ahead and do that in lieu of a gift, then it's like they probably come out spending a lot less money, and everybody gets what they want. And then you don't have crap that you don't need, and you have your whole thing paid for. Because weddings are so expensive.
So expensive. And it's not just crap that you don't need. It's also your time that it's going to take you to like unpack it, sort it out, repack it, bring it to the store,
Right.
talk to a representative like about returning it. Like it's not only the thing, it's your time also. I just had a thought that I didn't think about before, but it's like we are living in terms of weddings 50 to 70 years ago, where you met somebody in your town and you married somebody in your town, and both families were from around your town. And like, I don't know, and maybe it's just the circle of friends I keep, anyone that is the case for.
Right.
Not one person.
So I will say this, and granted, these are people who grew up in Portland, so it's a big city, but I do have friends who have been married for over 11 years now who were high school honeys.
Okay.
Yeah. And it is an anomaly.
So you know two.
Well, they are two that have become one.
Right.
I know one couple, but everybody
because
else.
Otherwise, I'm thinking like there is significant travel, overnight,
Right.
time commitment, and money that goes into this that 50, 70 years ago did not at all 100% know.
Mm-hmm.
You were not marrying someone from the other coast.
Yeah.
And then asking your entire family to go to another place for this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, my parents, they didn't live in the same town, but they lived nearby one another, and at the time, so did their families. So,
Right. Or if you grew up, let's say, in Iowa, you were either going to go to, Iowa State, UNI, or the University of Iowa. So even if you met your person at college, it was still basically the same place,
right.
kind of.
Yeah.
But it's I don't know, now maybe less people meet in college that they marry that person, or again, maybe it's my circle of friends, or you're not going to the college in the state that you lived in. Mm-hmm. So that's maybe a little different as well. I don't know. Again, could just be my circle, but I don't know.
There's a lot more travel involved now.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Generally, yeah. The final thing I'm going to say about wedding registries, just because I have not even begun to and I hope to not have a long engagement at all. I know that a lot of factors go into why people pick the days they pick to get married, and part of it is just there's so long of waiting lists at the venue you want to do it. So then you can't hire the caterer or the florist until you get the venue secured and XYZ. But I wish there was a basic registry that had a bunch of crap on it that people need or think that they need, and then you could go through and edit it so that right away when you're we got engaged, because inevitably there's the terrible, horrible, insensitive, stupid questions people ask you immediately after. You call people 5 hours after it happens, and the first thing they say after congratulations is, when is the wedding? And you're
right.
Beep,
I don't know.
I don't know when that is. I just beep, 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 engaged. Is how I feel. But, and it's then for the people that ask that, you could just respond here, this is my registry. And you could just not have to worry about it or think about it. Mm-hmm. And or a class that would teach you how to do it. You can sign up for the premium package of the class, and maybe even an online course or something. And it's instead of taking a gun on a weekend and going to a store and beep boop boop all of the codes.
That kind of gun. Got it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We're living in a
confused
2018 scary world. No, I'm sorry. No, I meant a scanner.
A little zapper.
Yeah. A scanner. Not a gun, a scanner. And walking through the store, which inevitably, if your wedding is a year and a half, 2 years away, those items are not even going to be available anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Because seasonally, the store changes out their merchandise.
Sure.
So instead of going through and doing that and wasting a day, and then people searching the internet for these specific tumblers that you thought you wanted, but you don't have a place to store them, and you didn't love them in the first place, and definitely in 10 years you're not going to like them. I don't know. I'm just making this up. Just sort of a class that would be this is kind of how you do it, and you can cater it to the way you need it. I also know there's in lieu of a gift, we would like you to donate to this charity, which I think is lovely.
That's one of the things that we did.
Yeah.
And it is not in lieu of a gift. It is a gift, but not directly to us.
Oh, yeah. Not a physical gift to me.
Right.
But still a gift. Yes. Agreed. The sticky part of that becomes different values. I guess.
We did. There's one website you could Google it if you want, but it's registries for charities, and we selected ones that were important to us. We did the organization that we adopted Daisy from. We did my wife is an attorney, and she was active with a group in Los Angeles called Mental Health Advocacy Services that gives legal representation to people who are, have special needs for their mental health, who aren't able to otherwise get the representation. So she was active with that. So that was one. There's like other things that were important to us that we thought that it would be worth it for, people to get in on it. And when people did that, it made us a lot happier than when people would buy us, I don't know, stuff for our kitchen,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
Those things. I also wish that there was a way to do that and have it go to, I know people want to know what they're giving to, and like, I don't want to call anybody out for anything terrible, but it is coming up on Tony season, just for me to shift slightly.
Okay.
And I love the theater. I always want to support it in any way that I can, mostly by going to shows, because that's like an experience for me as well. And I like just having someone else's story or emotion affect me in whatever way that it does. And then after the Tonys, typically on Father's Day, which is weird, but typically on Father's Day, it's just the week after the Tonys, there is a big celebration charity show called Broadway Bears, BARES, and it's a huge dance celebration. All the participants fundraise on their own and fundraise as teams. And then twice a year, the Broadway community asks the audience members with the red buckets to go out and give money to support Broadway Cares, Equity Fights AIDS. And I have heard stories. I have not been affected by this personally, but I have heard stories from friends that have danced in the event that certain family members of theirs feel weird giving money to like it's essentially a campy striptease. Like, it's not meant to titillate, it's meant to like be fun, or at least that's my interpretation of it. And that's me as like a pretty fun, free spirit, supportive of and tolerant of all love. But there have been stories that I've heard from friends where people maybe don't want to donate to that person's campaign because they don't support same-sex relationships and think that XYZ about the charity in general. And with all of that said, I don't want somebody to not give my wedding registry charity the money because of what they believe. Like, I almost wish there would be a way for me to be like, and this is going to go to my favorite animal charity. And this is going to go to my favorite, like, Broadway charity. Where, like...
Yeah, that's why we had a lot, like, 5 different options to...
Right.
Yeah.
I know. It's like, it's just such a fine line between, like, I would rather be oblivious to who is doing that donating, or do they donate anonymously? I guess I'm like off on a tangent now, and this doesn't really matter because
I no, it's not anonymous. Like, you find out what the person contributed and what they contributed to, but I mean, it all gets filed, I think, like under your name, not the person who's giving it. I can't remember exactly.
Oh, I don't even care about that credit. I just mean like the person that I generally would have thought in my brain, like, good guy, love him. Like, ugh.
Right.
I know. Now I'm getting deep in it. What did I challenge you to? Let's move on.
You challenged me to luggage. And it might have even been on the last episode, maybe the one before that, but we were, and I'm thinking this is mostly you, but you were talking, you were talking about how you prefer to travel, if at all possible, with like nothing. Yeah. Just like, the clothes you're wearing, your phone, a charger, and that's it. Because, you can always get a toothbrush somewhere and whatever. And then you brought up the idea of vacation in a box.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think that's it. That's it. I hate luggage. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't like carrying bulky things around. I don't like having to pack for stuff and then having to, I don't know, navigate all of the like dirty clothes and everything. I just want to like go somewhere with nothing at all, and that's all. That's just what I'm there with. If I need to get something, it's not like, oh, if I'm going someplace where I know that I can't buy anything, that's a different story. But like, seriously, I don't want to have to go to the baggage carousel. I don't want to have to fight for space in the overhead compartment on a flight. I just want, whatever I can carry in a small bag. Also, I am very much against wheelie luggage that you drag around with you everywhere. The ground is disgusting, and I don't want my stuff touching it. Bottom of my shoes, that's it.
Yeah. I have two things to say about this. First thing is, you know how you look at hotel rooms and you're like, oh, that looks lovely. And then you get there and you're like, where the hell am I going to put my luggage? Mm-hmm. There's like not a place. There's like this collapsible like buffet, old-timey restaurant buffet, like rickety fabric metal tray that I'm supposed to put my suitcase on, only it won't work when my suitcase is open. So if I'm going to stay here for less than 3 weeks, which obviously I am, I'm certainly not unpacking my entire suitcase to put it in these drawers and like
my parents do that. Like
what?
they move into a hotel essentially for like 2 nights.
What?
Yeah.
No.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to do that. Never. And so I want there to be a place, like maybe this isn't like a suitcase or a luggage innovation. It's just like a stay places innovation. There's got to be like a designated, this is where you put your open suitcase.
Right. Yeah.
That's not just sprawled out on the floor in some sort of weird twister maze where you can't like walk on anything. The floor is lava. The floor is lava.
Right.
Because that's all the floor space there is, because they're trying to cram as many hotel rooms into this space as possible.
Yeah.
Like, blocking the emergency exits, I'm telling you. Okay, second thing about rolly bags. When I went to school, I walked 15 miles in the snow. No, I carried my backpack on my back like a respectable kid. And I also carried a trumpet case and probably like, I don't know, tennis racket or my softball mitt or roller skates. I don't even know. And I see kids in the city hauling like roller backpacks. And I'm like, are you kidding me? You've never even been to a library. You don't even touch physical books. You read stuff on your Kindle or your iPhone or your laptop. What could possibly be in your backpack that you can't carry, that you have to roll it?
Yeah. Kids these days.
Gross.
I know that there's going to be a large element of wanting to fit in with your peers, but when my daughter, who is only 9.5 months old, but when she is in school, I'm sure that she's going to want to do what the other kids are doing. But like, it's going to be real tough for me to give in to something like one of those roller bags. Although I will say, I really don't see those a lot out here.
Oh my goodness. Probably because the kids can like get in the car.
Right.
And get dropped off at school. It's like when you're walking for, I guess, blocks.
I walked pretty far to get to school, like especially junior high. That was a pretty decent walk.
And it wasn't flat terrain. It was pretty hilly, especially for Iowa too.
Yeah. So anyway,
I don't
kids
know.
these days.
Side note about this, because now I'm off on all these rants. Did you ever paper your books?
Oh, yeah.
With, like, inside-out grocery bags?
Oh, yeah.
What do kids do now?
You tell me. You, nannied for a teenager for, you know.
They don't have books. That's what I'm telling you.
They have no books.
No.
That's crazy.
Everything was, they got like school laptops. So they had like their
my
personal
God.
laptop at home and then their school laptop, and then they would like log in to the school website to either get their homework and then submit it. Like there was almost no paper also.
That's really fascinating and makes me barf all the time. That's crazy.
Right? Like the only time I remember ever getting any kind of books for her was it's summer vacation. I'm going to the south of France and I'm going to be really bored. Let's buy a bunch of books.
Well, I think also the situation that you're talking about, it's all I'll say is that it's not like a public school situation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there are plenty of schools that still use books because public
Like a
schools don't have
textbook?
money. Yeah, they've
Yeah.
got to. I'll ask my brother. He's a public school teacher in Seattle.
Yeah. Ask. Ooh, and then get back to me. Okay.
Yeah.
This has been like a whirlpool funnel of off-topicness, but it's our anniversary and we can do what we want.
Louise, happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Let's talk challenges for the next episode.
Let's do it. You got one for me?
I had one, but I'm forgetting what it was.
I'll tell you. It's anniversaries.
Let's take that again. My challenge for you for the next episode is anniversaries.
Hey,
Da-da-da.
topical. Okay,
So
cool.
topical. What do you got for me?
Landscaping.
Ugh. I was supposed to work on my yard today, and I just like ran out of time. Granted,
As you
I
do.
watched 3 movies today. I didn't go into work today, but yeah. I did laundry and like other stuff, but I just didn't get to my outdoor responsibilities. But it's like the only person policing me on that is myself. The neighbors really
Right.
don't care.
Right.
Yeah. I'm only doing it for them when I do it.
Right.
Anyway, we'll
If
talk
you
about
do
that
it.
more on the next episode of I Have a Great Idea, but I'll never do it. Thank you all for listening. Listen to our other episode, our other podcast, Louise to Beaver. All the things we mentioned earlier. Do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts on our 2-year anniversary episode, Louise?
I can't believe that I still get this excited to do this with you because I really, really, really love it. And if you ever think to yourself, like, I'm not sure this is working, it's working for me, buddy.
Oh, I absolutely love this. I wish we could do this every day. Although we'd run out of ideas really fast.
I don't know. Creativity is a habit.
It's true. We will, I'm sure at some point have opportunities to like knock a bunch of these out and we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, thank
pumped.
you for hanging out and thank you all for listening, everybody. Bye.
I don't see it happening.